This is topic B on page 95, Tracking Messages. Often you are using email to communicate important information. You want to make sure that your emails are sent successfully, read in a timely manner, and have all the information you need to convey. You can use the features available in Outlook, such as voting and tracking, to help you manage your message responses. So first, the info bar is a banner that appears near the top of an open or selected Outlook item, below the ribbon in an open item, and below the subject and sender in the reading pane, and provides information about the item. So in figure 4.5 on page 110, it shows an example of your info bar. It's shown with a lowercase I in a blue circle, and we'll see some examples using the info bar as we go along. Depending on the type of item, the info bar might display the date and time you replied to or forwarded an email, if a message has been flagged for follow-up, if a message has been categorized with a color category, the date and time you responded to a meeting invite and how you responded, accepted, denied, tentatively accepted, and more, and other information about the item, such as if extra line breaks were removed from a message. So let's see if I have a message in here that I have responded to. Here we go. Here's one. See, this is an example of the info bar. You responded yes on Monday, April 20th, 8:34 p.m. Okay, so that shows, here's a response. I replied to this message. I replied to this message. So all of these are examples of messages in your info bar. Again, telling you whether you responded, replied, forwarded the message, and also how you answered for voting options, which we'll take a look at now. When I create a new message, I'm going to make this the subject of lunch, and I'm going to address this to both classes. And the text is going to be, would you like to meet for lunch? If so, where? Now I don't want everyone responding to a bunch of random places, so maybe I want to give everybody two options to vote for. So in the Options ribbon tab, in the Tracking command group, we can actually add voting buttons to our messages, which is a pretty cool feature in my opinion. The preset options, you can add an approve option and reject option, yes or no. You can do yes, no, or maybe, or you can even create custom options. So maybe I wanted to create two options, let's say Olive Garden and the Miracle Bar. So in the voting and tracking options, it's automatically checked off, use voting buttons. I can backspace these approve or reject options, and I can have Olive Garden, and you want to separate your different options with semicolons. So we have Olive Garden, and we'll do Miracle Bar. And I can click close from here. You can see my info bar pops up that you did add voting buttons to this message. And I can go ahead and send this out to everybody, and they'll be able to vote. And I'll show you how you go about voting when you receive that message. So I actually already had logged into Maureen's email account and sent a message to myself, same one I sent to you guys. So here I have Maureen's message of lunch. Do you want to meet for lunch? If so, where? And you can see in the info bar of this message includes voting buttons. Click here to vote. So if I click on the info bar, the two options, Vote Olive Garden and Vote Miracle Bar, pop up for us. Now, so that's the way to vote when you're just reading your message in your reading pane. If I was to double click the message to open it up in a new window, you can see in the info bar you vote by clicking in the respond group above. So it tells you to go to your message tab on your ribbon And in your respond command group here, you have the vote drop down, which gives you your two options of Olive Garden or Miracle Bar. So obviously, I'm going to choose the Miracle Bar. So I'm going to go ahead and select that option to cast my vote. And you have chosen to respond Miracle Bar. You can send the response now without adding any additional information. Or if you need to add additional information, you can edit the response before sending. So maybe I would want to add, I will be there, but I may be a little late, and click send. So that was my response to Maureen's voting message. So you can see now the info bar tells me that you responded Miracle Bar on your date and time. So I can close out that original message. And I'm going to flip over to Maureen's email account. And you can see that she got a response. She got my text. And also it tells her my voting option right in the subject line. Miracle Bar for lunch. Tells her how I voted. Now, sometimes if we go to the sent message, the original message, and we open that up, in your message tab, when you double click that message to pop it open in a new window, again, let me show you that again. I went to Maureen's sent items, her original message that she sent out for lunch. She had sent this to myself and Sal. If she double click that, goes to her message tab, and in the show command group, here she has a tracking button. So instead of, writing down and keeping track of what each individual person voted for, she can click tracking, and everybody that she sent the message to and their response will be recorded here. So it will keep track of everything for them. So you can see reply totals, Miracle Bar has 1 vote, Olive Garden has 0. So obviously Sal has not responded, so he has an empty response there. But I did vote for Miracle Bar. So it's an easy way to keep track. But it's important to know that only the original sender will be able to access this tracking list. Not any of the recipients, just the original creator of that email message with the voting options. Okay, so that's your tracking options. Now, when you're creating, let me flip back to my email account. I'm going to open up a new email. When you're creating a new email, on your options tab in your tracking command group, you can also check off to request a read receipt. This option can be enabled for an email to keep track of if and when your email was read by the intended recipient. If this option is enabled, you will receive a message from the recipient notifying that your message was read. And right above that, you have the request a delivery receipt option. This can be enabled for an email to keep track of when the email was delivered. If this option is enabled, you will receive a message from Microsoft Outlook notifying you that your message was delivered successfully. So I'll go ahead and send a message to Maureen. We'll do receipt tests, and I'm going to check off both of these options. So I want a message when this message has been successfully delivered, and also when Maureen has read the message. So I'm going to go ahead and click send to send that out. You can see I automatically got a Microsoft Outlook message. And it says your message has been delivered to the following recipients, and that's Maureen White. Now I'm going to flip over to Maureen's account, back to her inbox, and I'm going to open up the message from myself of receipt tests. And you can see it automatically tells her, Erin requested a read receipt be sent when the message receipt test is read. Do you want to send a receipt? So even though I have that checked off, Maureen could easily select no and not have that red receipt sent out. But because I'm requesting it, she may want to be a nice person and go ahead and let me know when she read the message. So I'm going to click yes for Maureen here. And I can close out that original message. And I'm going to flick back to my email account. And we'll wait till that next Microsoft Outlook message comes in. Here's from Maureen, and it tells us the message to Maureen was read on that time that she opened it up. All right, your next video will be activity 4.2 on page 98.